So you're thinking about switching from one of these to one of these, and you probably have questions. In fact, you may be looking at an RV that has a cassette toilet, and you're wondering, what the crap is a cassette toilet, and how's it different, and is 4 gallons enough, and how often am I going to have to empty this thing, and does it smell when I empty it? Does it smell in the bathroom, and is it heavy to lift, and is it messy? Is it better than a black tank, and when is a black tank better, and is a cassette toilet even right for me? Hi, I'm Owen of Van Trekking Lifestyle, and I've been RVing for almost 30 years, and I've had both systems, and I've lived through all these questions. And it's freezing out here, so I'm going to head inside, and I'll walk you through my thoughts about these questions and what I've learned so that you can better navigate this crappy decision you have to make. Cassette toilet is mainly just another way of emptying your business when you're in an RV. Instead of a big holding tank like you would have a black tank, it is just a small removable tank that sits over top of your toilet. And when you need to empty it, you take it out, you take it to where you're going to dump it, and then you pour it out. You put it back in. That's all there is. Another question that may pop into your head is, if I'm used to having 20 gallons or 30 gallons and I don't have to empty very often, if this thing has 5, how often will I have to empty? Well, if you drink a lot of coffee, maybe every 2 days. When we had one linen, I could usually go 2, maybe 3, sometimes even as many as 4 days before having to empty it. Does it smell when you empty it? Well, I'd love to tell you that it doesn't, but very few times that I've emptied these things in the past did it not smell. Not only do you have your own smell, you're having to open up the sewer hose connection there, and you're pouring this down in. So you have that smell that comes up. So it is not as smell-free as a stinky-slinky hose. Along the same lines, we get the question, does it smell inside? Do I get that odor? Well, usually if the seals are tight, everything's good, you won't get as much of an odor. But Lynn and I have noticed that with a cassette toilet, there are more smells inside the RV than there are when you have a black tank. Unless you let the black tank get really clogged up, or you don't clean it very often and flush it, and then you're going to have more smell inside. But the real answer is, it depends. If you empty it all the time and you clean it out and rinse it all the time and it starts out not smelling, chances are if you find a solution that works for you so that your business doesn't smell, you're not going to have as many odors inside too. But I think the rule of thumb is it's probably going to smell more than a black tank. Another question we get is it heavy? Well, a full cassette toilet, when you're going out to empty it, can weigh anywhere between 35 and 45 pounds. You can usually count on around 40 pounds. But if you're smart about it, you won't wait until it's full. So if a comfortable level for you is 20 pounds and emptying it, then, well, you empty it when it's about half full. There are ways of pouring it in where you can kind of bend it over and put it in. And I have a video that I'll link in the description and up above that'll show you how to do that. I'm very well known on the internet as the guy that can empty a cassette toilet and teach you to do it too without spilling a drop. The other advantage of that is you don't have to lift that up as high, and it doesn't seem to be as heavy. Another question we get a lot is it messy? Well, it's a lot less messy than most people would think that it is. But when you do have an accident, you're really close to that accident, and chances are you're going to get some of that stuff on you. If you've been RVing for any time at all, I bet there's a really good chance you've had an accident while connecting the hose, pulling the little plunger thing, or connecting it up to the little chute behind you. It's just going to happen. Either I forgot to close the gray tank valve whenever I dumped here last time, or it hit something and opened. I'm thinking I probably forgot to close it because I know I put the little cap on, but maybe I forgot to do the little end of it. Anyway, I opened up the little screw off cap thing, and the gush of stuff comes running out, so I'm running out of the way, stepping back, trying to get out of the way, and luckily nobody's here to laugh at me except for Lynn. And the truth is, you're probably going to have accidents with the cassette toilet too. It's not going to be as much to empty, it's not going to be as big of a mess, but you're going to be closer to that mess, so you'll want to be careful when you're doing it. So, is a cassette toilet better than a black tank? What are the pros and cons? Well, let's talk about the pros. You can dump almost anywhere. We've dumped at dump stations, we've dumped at full hookup sites, we've stopped at restaurants that have outdoor toilets, we've stopped at vault toilets. It's great for any of that. It's really fast and it's really simple. It's really a great solution for small rigs and boondocking. You don't have to carry a big hose around with you. There's no winterizing of it.
Maggie's going with you. You fill it up?
Half a dance, half a dance.
I don't know that.
Another thing we found that's really good about this is when you get back from a trip, you can use your RV all the way to your driveway. If you don't have any kind of hookup at home and you have a conventional black tank, well, you can't do that because you need to leave that black tank empty when you're storing it for any period of time. If you have a cassette toilet, one of the things you're going to do when you're unloading your RV is just take that cassette toilet in, dump it in one of your toilets at your house, rinse it out and put it back in, and you're ready for the next trip. So as you can see, there are a lot of pros associated with a cassette toilet, but there are a few cons too. Let's talk about those. First one, it's a small size tank. And if you're going to empty it when it's maybe 50 to 60% full, so it's more maneuverable and not as heavy, well, you're going to be touching that a lot more often. Another con is when it is full, it's heavy. And no matter what kind of shape you're in, when you hurt your back is when you lift something and you're at a wrong angle. And I have done that before, and it has ruined a few of our trips lifting that when I thought I can just manhandle that and carry it to the bathroom, and I come limping back. Another con is it's usually not a ceramic toilet on the inside, which leads to stains if you're not careful, and you have to be careful what you rinse and wash it with. Another one, if you're not careful again, you're going to get more smells inside. So you need to learn how to deal with that. Now, there are ways around that. And like I said before, you're going to learn what works for you and your family and what smells the least. But typically, there are going to be more smells. Another con, they're very inexpensive to purchase. Those seals are going to eventually wear out. The parts are eventually going to wear out, and you're going to have to replace it. Now, you can probably replace it for $250 or so, which means you may even want to keep an extra one with you. It's not like replacing a black tank on a toilet in your RV. It's not going to be a $5,000 expense. It's going to be something that's going to be easy for you to go out and purchase at a Camping World or any place that usually carries these. And the final con for us, if you go somewhere and you're going to stay for 3 weeks or 4 weeks and you're paying for a full hookup site, it's much easier to connect up the sewer hose and leave it connected. Now, you don't want to leave it open, but you can leave it connected and let your black tank fill up. Go outside and pull that hose and pull the gray and rinse it out, close it back up and go inside, and you've never touched anything. And it's just a lot more friendly for not getting germs all over your hands. But if you have a cassette toilet, no matter what you do, when you have that full service hookup, those are the most difficult ones to use that you're going to actually make use of. So every 2 to 3 days, even though everybody else is out there and they're just pushing a button and doing their business, you've got to go out, pull that out, dump, rinse, dump, and put it back in. It's just an extra thing you have to put up with. So that leads me to, when is a black tank better than a cassette toilet? Well, like I just said, if you're going to have a place that has full hookups and you're going to stay there and you're going to rent it by a week or a month, it's much better to have a black tank that you can just use empty when you want to and monitor the levels. You're not going to have a family of 10 that's going to be in your RV if you've got a cassette toilet, because they're usually in smaller RVs. But if you have multiple people visiting, you can fill up a cassette toilet in almost less than a day if you have a lot of people trying to use it. Also, if you're like us and you have grandchildren that love to camp, they're probably used to having a black tank, so they know how to flush that. They're probably not going to know how to flush a cassette toilet, so a black tank is going to be a conventional black tank, and an RV toilet is going to be more familiar to them. So did I answer all the questions you may have about whether a cassette toilet is right for you or not? If you're thinking about getting an RV that has a cassette toilet, that's not the reason not to get that RV. Now, quality, price, all the features, those things are reasons not to get an RV. But the cassette toilet, you'll adapt to that. The bottom line is this: you're going to adapt to whatever makes the most sense to you and whatever you have at the time, and you're going to learn to use that in a way that's convenient for you and your family. Well, lots of questions, right? And I hope my opinion about those questions has helped you. And if it has, I hope you'll leave a like on the video. And if you like this type of conversation about what it's really like to camp in these RVs that are made these days and all the things that are inside of them, we hope you'll consider subscribing. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments down below. And I tell you what, I hope all of your Cousin Eddie, Stinky-Slinky, or Cassette Toilet dumps are drama-free in the future for you. We'll see you out there on the road, or maybe even at a dump station, or you may hear me in a toilet beside of you empty my cassette toilet one of these days. Until then, happy tales.
What are you doing?
Taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. It's like crapping with a view right here. It's pretty cool.